Hello and welcome to my channel, My Craft. Today I'm going to show you how I've made this absolutely gorgeous blue moon Christmas card, and it's got some real lovely sparkle on it. I don't know if you can see all of that. Really seasonal, really lovely. So to start with, I'm going to show you just a bit of background onto the card itself with these little fern branches. So let's move that across there. So I'm working on a 6x6 card. Here's my card here, and I'm just going to edge around with a pro marker. This one colour is cyan, and this is all I do to get the edges sorted, just to give me a little bit of a interest on the back of that card. And I think it just nicer than white, and it just gives that lovely little pop of colour. So just go around all four of your edges. This cyan goes quite well with the blue that I'm using, and I'm using the blue Atol from the Elements inks of Lavinia. And yeah, it goes really, really well. So there we go. That's all around the edge. And then I'm using the Fir Branch. So let me get rid of that a minute. The Fir Branch, and I'm stamping that in Warm Breeze in the Versafine Claire. I'm going to be using the top of the branch. Now that's still quite dark, so I'm just going to take some off and then stick a little bit up the side here. Again, the other side. It just has that lovely little bit of interest into the background, perhaps a second impression there. And again, a little bit along the bottom, maybe just angle it different ways, a bit of a third impression, then that's fine. We don't need any more than that. And then I've got some a little, this isn't a pro marker, but it is an acrylic little pen, and I'm just going to do a few tiny, check that's running, a few tiny little green dots, and this just ties in with the actual card front itself that I've got going on in a minute. So there we go. Don't need too many of these. And again, that just adds your lovely little background. So that's all done. So I can put that to one side now. We can start actually on the card. So I've got a piece of 5x5 card, and this is just an ordinary 300 GSM. It doesn't need to be water card or anything like that, because we're not really doing an awful lot of water on it. I'm going to put a little horizon in to the background for our moon. So first of all, we need to find out where our moon's going to be. So I've got the circle mask. I'm just going to pop that there gently, and you need a horizon, not necessarily horizon it, but it's little hills. Let's go say little hills, and they need to be quite low because we obviously want a lot of moon. So once we've measured that up, I'm coming in with some Bermuda elements, and I'm just going to start this side here, and I'm going to put Quinn round about here, so I'm not going to come in quite so dark there. Let's go like so, and there we go. So that's all done there. So then we need to come in with our, lose that a minute, then we need to come in with our moon mask, or our circle mask again, pop that onto the card, and we need to come back with our hill mask. So line it up again, and then the colour that I'm using for the moon is the blue Atol. Now mine's a really, really juicy ink pad because it's quite new. So what I'm going to do, just pop that down there, start at the bottom, off onto the mask, and then just come across like so. And I'm going to fade it out as I go up towards the top. A bit more because I want it darker at the bottom. So you can just play around with this until you get the colour that you want. And I want it to be quite dark at the bottom here. A little bit more, perhaps. So as you move up, just take the pressure off your brush and just gently do that with it. So there we go. I think that's good enough for that. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is just pop a little bit of water splats onto this card. Let's just grab my water brush. If I take the mask off first, what else? And that I just wanted a little bit more of interest into my moon by adding quite a lot actually of water on this one. There we go. So I'm just going to dry that off so we can go a bit quicker. Okay, I'm just looking that. There we go. So the first stamp I'm going to do is Quinn, and I'm going with the Versafine Claire in the Nocturn. So just give it plenty of ink. I'm just going to put a little bit of, oh sorry, grabbed my little cushion of pile of card there, scrap card. So I'm just going to pop her here, just so that her wings are nearly touching the side of the moon. Just give her a bit of time for that ink to transfer. Hum a tune while you're waiting. There we go. So she's come out not quite as dark as I was hoping around here. So what I do with that is I use one of my fine liners and I just colour in the gaps, and it blends in quite well. Oh yeah, she doesn't need too much. Oh, excuse me, tickle. And then I'm using the little forager fairy. Obviously these come in a set of 4, so they're great. You can pick and choose whichever one suits what you're doing. And I'm just going to angle her so that she's round about there. Lovely. So that's the 2 little fairies done. And then I'm coming in with the Fir Branch again. And to match their background, I'm going to stamp in the Warm Breeze and the Versafine Claire. Again, this is quite bright, so I'm going to stamp some off and then use the second impression. So we're going to have a few of those across the card. So 2 of the taller ones, one either side, up the edges. And then angle your second one in like so. Maybe a tiny bit there just to fill the gap in there. And this one I'm going to angle that way. Perhaps just fill in the little gap there. So that's our Fir Branch. So let's just lose that then. Let's turn that over a minute. Okay, so now for the top, I've got the Forest Creeper, I think it's called. And I'm going to stamp that in the Bermuda in the Elements. Now it's quite obviously a watery ink. So you don't need to push it too hard onto the stamp as such. Be very gentle taps with this one. So I'm just going to pop that there. And again, don't push down too hard on it, and you will get a crisper impression. So this is going in first and second impressions. So we're just going to have a few of those across. Let's put a little bit more down there. So that's quite pretty. Maybe a little bit more just here. So I'm just going to leave that little gap in the middle. So that's that one. Now I'm going to do a little bit of embossing. So I'm just going to quickly just dry that off. There we go. And I'm coming in with this is the Thimble weed and the Versamark ink pad. So again, gentle taps on this. Don't push it down too hard because you'll squash the ink in between the little berries and it will come out squashed rather than little berries. I know because it did it to me. Right, okay. So I'm going to do 9 of these. So odd numbers always look better than even, but you've just got to wing it as to where it goes because you can't see it. So do some up and down. Put one on the edge here, look. 2. Okay then, let's see what we've got. Right, let's find the embossing powder, and I've got a detail white. Mine's quite old, it looks a bit yellow, but it does come out white once it's heated. There we go, that's all right, I think. Everything's been covered. So I'll just move that to one side a moment. I'm just going to get my heat gun. And it's quite a lot of it's come out on the little fairy, actually. I'm just going to take some of that off. I don't want her in white. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to take my little stamping platform off of there. And now I'm going to edge the card in the blue Atol. And this is where that white embossing will really pop. So again, now I want mine quite dark because I really like the look of that. I'm just going to grab a bit of scrap to put on my card. Bear with me, I'm off camera. There we go. Should have had that ready, but didn't. There we go. So start off your card and then come in. And those little white berries are popping now. How lovely. So obviously you can do this as dark or as light as you like. I just like the look of the nice, beautiful, bright blue. Let's have a look what we've got. That looks fabulous. Right, just going to clean my mat a moment. I don't want that everywhere else, it shouldn't be. Right, and then because we put a lot of ink on this, just get a little cloth and just buff up your little white bits. Just takes that little bit of ink off that is sitting on top of the onto our little berries, and it makes them pop a little bit more. So she's looking pretty good at the moment. Right, we need to ground her. So I'm just going to come back in with a bit of mask here, heel mask, and clean that off before you plonk it down, guys. There we go. And let me come in with my Bermuda. So I'm just going to ground her here. And that's her little bottom and her feet. Always put a little bit of something in further down if you want. Just going to pop a bit in down there, a bit round there. Lovely. So now that's done, it's a matter of putting all the bling in. So I've got a silver and that's a jelly roll, and I've got the white. So I'm just going to start with the white on her hair. Just give her some squiggly bits. So because it's on the blue, it doesn't particularly show up fantastically well. Make sure it's running okay. And it does sort of fade in the back into the background, but that's not a problem because we're going to go over it with some silver in a minute, and then just edge out your little fairies with your white. I'm just doing little tiny white dots around the edges of her wings. So it's not a lot, but it's just that difference. Okay, so the other thing I've got to do now is my little berries, and I've got those in Twilight, in the Versafine Twilight. So let me come in with a scrap, because again it's quite a dark colour, and I'm actually going to stamp off with those and just use the second impression. There we go, that's enough of those. So that's my little berries. I'm going to be giving, Quinn's going to be giving little forager fairy some stars and some stardust. I've got the Versafine Claire and Arctic here. Anything you've got really will do. Just going to pop that there. Okay. And then I'm actually using the word Noel out of the seasonal words, I think they are. And I'm going to do that in black. Obviously you can put any message you like. You could use this as a winter birthday card, something like that. Be quite nice. There we are, just give that a chance to transfer. Right, back to my silver, white and silver pens. So these little berries, you can just colour in the white gel pen. Just adds a beautiful bit of sparkle, a really subtle sparkle. So you don't have to do all of them. Just pick a few out. Here we go. And again this side. You could glitter them, you could do whatever. I just like the look of this pen. It's really fantastic. I'm just going to let that dry for a second or two, because I am going to come back in with some white on there. While I've got the pen, I'm going to do some more in her hair. And the same for the little forager fairy. And I don't know if you can see that, but it is there. And again for the berries. Okay. And then I've got the beautiful Winker Stella brush. It's fabulous. So let's get that, make sure that's running. And I'm going to do that on their wings. Beautiful. Again, this is really hard to see on camera, but in real life, that's really sort of adding some sparkle. There we go. You probably see it there. Look, that's good. All right, get rid of that. Right, finishing off touches. So I'm going to have some green. This isn't a Posca pen, but it is just an ordinary little acrylic pen. It's the one we used on the card front. So I'm just going to put a few dots of that around here. A few here. So that's a little bit of that. Back to the silver jelly roll, and I'm just going to do a few little dots around here. So that just adds a few of those. And then the white. I'm just going to pop a little dot onto the white berries, and it just finishes them off as well. There we go. Lovely. And the final couple of pieces. I've got my Posca there, and I've got my Quickie glue pen. I'm just going to put some glitter into each middle of each of these stars and a few little dots about, like so. And I've got some beautiful silver glitter. Just going to highlight this up there. There we go. Let's get rid of that. And then the final thing is the little bit of snow. Let's pop a little bit on top of our wording there, the Noel. I do just do little dots. I think it looks a bit more natural than drawing a line. And then just to finish off, a few splats. Tiny little bit of snow. I mean, you can barely see it, but it is there. I think I need a new pen. Anyway, that is how we've done that lovely, lovely card. There's the base. And we can just stick that on there like so. I'll probably lift it up a bit rather than down. How pretty is that? Now, I hope that's given you a little bit of inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.